Hey, it's Animal Collector here, and in this video we're going to take a look at the death card of Josef Bierl. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So right on top here we have a small format photo of Josef, and then moving to the text. In prayerful memory of Josef Bierl from Zillendorf, a Schutze in a motorized grenadier regiment, a butcher's assistant in Waldmützen, bearer of the wound badge, who died a heroic death on November 28th, 1942, in the fighting in the East at the age of 20 years and 5 months. Now, I was actually able to find Josef's casualty record. We'll go ahead and put that up on screen. Josef was born on June 29th, 1922 in Zillendorf, and was a member of the 6th Company Panzergrenadier Regiment 128, part of the 23rd Panzer Division. He would die after having his right leg amputated to the thigh at a field hospital in Kaschary, and he is buried in a military cemetery there. Now, what's interesting is we actually recently did a video on the 23rd, actually literally 2 death card videos ago. Kind of weird how that worked out. That's never happened before, where it's just almost like back-to-back on these units. But the book really doesn't say too much about what was going on November 28th, specifically when Josef was killed. However, in the book, Combat History of the... if I can zoom out. Combat History of the 23rd Division in World War II, it does briefly mention what was going on at the time, but no specific fighting. Starting on page 204 here, we learn that while the 23rd Panzer Division was setting up a defense outside of Ord-Schonakitze and was starting to prepare its defensive fighting positions for the winter, one of the most important battles of the Second World War was taking place at Stalingrad, 500 kilometers to the north. So basically, around the time that Josef was killed was around the time that Stalingrad was encircled, and the 23rd Panzer Division was going to be one of the units that was going to be sent up to try to break the encirclement of Stalingrad and save the 6th Army that was stuck there. So it appears that there was a couple-week period where they were kind of trying to get organized to head out, and during this lead-up period, Josef obviously was wounded, had to go get his leg amputated, and ended up dying as a result, most likely from blood loss. Now, as I mentioned, I did recently do a video on another member of the 23rd Panzer Division. If you didn't watch that video, or just a reminder, because I know it was a few weeks ago, that was for Josef Kulper, who was an Obergefreiter and Funktruppführer in the staff company of Schutze Regiment 126, and he would be killed by a headshot at Post-Sadanoye, Ukraine, on March 14th, 1942. Now, moving to the bottom of the card here. Farewell, a harsh farewell word, but in good spirit I went away. In distant land and hot battle, I often thought of you. Goodbye. God called me. My fate was the death of a soldier. So console yourself. Look up to heaven. What God is doing is well done. I already have what you wish for. Heaven is a soldier's wage. Then moving to the back of the card here, we have some very, very small text, but it reads roughly, Behold, O good and sweetest Jesus, I cast myself upon my knees in thy sight, and with the most fervent desire of my soul I pray and beseech thee, that thou wouldst impress upon my heart lively sentiments of faith, hope, and charity, with the contrition for my sins and a firm purpose of amendment, while with deep affection and grief of soul I ponder within myself and mentally contemplate thy 5 wounds, having before my eyes that which David, thy prophet, spoke of thee, my Jesus. They have pierced my hands, my feet, they have numbered all my bones. And it's specified down here that full indulgence is available to the deceased after a dignified confession, communion, and prayer before a picture of the crucified by the decree of the Holy Father, Pius IX, from July 31st, 1858. And at the bottom here, we have My Jesus Mercy for an additional 300 days indulgence. But yeah, overall, pretty interesting card. Josef being killed, just shortly before his division gets thrown up into Operation Vinta Gavita in order to try and rescue the 6th Army that's stuck up there at Stalingrad. I haven't read too much more of this book, so I'm not sure how bad the fighting was for the 23rd around the Stalingrad area. But of course, obviously, the attempt to relieve Stalingrad would fail, and the 6th Army would eventually be forced to surrender. But yeah, overall, pretty interesting card. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.